Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Shayma. Today I'm going to be cooking cupcakes. There's my noun disease again. And I'm going to be talking about Jack the Ripper, Portrait of a Killer by Patricia Cornwell. Okay, so this cupcake recipe, let's talk about cupcakes before we talk about Jack the Ripper, was given to me by a friend of my husband's from Morocco. And when she gave me the recipe, she had just like a tumbler that she used for measurements. So she all sort of like eyeballed the whole thing. So I wrote it down and I got as close as I could to the, exact measurements. So we're going to do 1.5 eggs. I got some, okay, 1.5 eggs. So I'm kind of so for half an egg, I'm just going to do an egg white. So instead of 1.5 eggs, I should just say 1 egg and 1 egg white. So I am kind of milk. Okay, so I need milk. So I'm doing a quarter, so 1/8 of a cup of milk. So I don't know what that is, just a little bit of milk. And then 1/8 of a cup of OJ. So I don't have OJ, so I'm just doing fresh squeezed orange juice. I'm kind of like a ripperologist, amateur ripperologist, which is like the real science because like it's an old-timey crime drama set in Victorian England in 1888. Jack the Ripper was a serial killer who killed definitely 3, possibly 5 prostitutes in a slum in London. So I'm going to do half of an orange, juice from half of an orange. Here we go. Okay. And half a cup of sugar. And so there's so many books on Jack the Ripper. There's probably as many books on Jack the Ripper as there are on like President Lincoln. 1/2 a cup and 1/3 of a cup of oil. So this was one of the things where like she had this measuring thing which wasn't like a standardized measure. So I'm going to do a 1/4 cup and 1/2 of a cup of oil. Right? Yes. Okay. And Patricia Cornwell is not seen as a real serious ripperologist because she is a fiction writer. But she had this, really interesting theory, which, they're all theories, so it's not like we're ever going to know who did it. So that was a 1/4 cup of yogurt. 1/4 cup of yogurt. Her theory was that Jack the Ripper was Walter Sickert, who was I'm looking for salt, and I just don't see it. Shoot. Okay, I got it. I got my salt. Okay, Walter Sickert was a painter of the time, and he, some of her evidence was like he painted like a painting that he said was, Jack the Ripper's bedroom. This is vanilla. And he also, okay, so now I'm gonna mix this up. This is all the like wet ingredients. So I'm just gonna whisk that together. And so she had like some DNA tests run on. Jack the Ripper wrote letters to the police where he was like, "You're never gonna catch me," blah blah blah. And so Patricia Cornwell had some of those letters tested for like the back of the stamps, like that, you know, were really there, that we still have, and tested for DNA evidence. I think that, like, it's too old to get DNA evidence off of the stamp, but they were able to tell, you know, like the blood type or whatever, and whether it was a man or a woman. And she also, or maybe I'm just making that up. Wait, don't listen to me. I'm making that up. She was able to compare the stationery. That's what she did. She compared the stationery, and she found that it came from the same reams of paper as, like, stationery that Sickert had bought. Because she had, like, some letters from Sickert, you know, that were on the same stationery. 2.5 cups of flour. So I'm making half a recipe here, so that's going to be 1 cup of flour. But I'm only going to put in half of the flour. I'm going to put in half of the flour, and I'm going to sift it. You know, she had this idea, you know, there's so many, like, different, you know, people that it could be, and, you know, I don't actually believe that it was Sickert. I don't know why I chose this book, because, you know, it has, like, there's some books about Jack the Ripper that are just, like, you know, like the case file. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, so we have baking powder, and we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1 teaspoon. Okay. And then I'm going to mix that up. And she said, my friend said that it's really important to put the baking soda on top of the flour and to put the flour in gradually. So these cupcakes turn out really good. Like, I haven't, you know, the problem with cake recipes is that there's too many eggs. Like, and to me, like, when you make, like, a cake that has so many eggs in the ingredients, the cake just tastes like eggs. But this cake doesn't taste like eggs. This cake tastes like oranges. It's a very nice flavor. All right, so I said half cups of flour. So I just did, I'm gonna put in just a little bit more flour there. Okay. I'm gonna sift it. The other thing that she said, another piece of evidence that she used was that Sickert used to like hang out and on the crime scenes, like in the slums, the area where these women were killed. And he also used to paint by the light of the police lanterns at the time, and she thought that was suspicious. Okay, so that's it. So here's your batter. I'm going to go get, I'm going to make these into cupcakes, so I'm going to go get the cupcake tins. This is going to make, I'm going to guess this will make 8 cupcakes. Shoot. Okay. I'm going to use pan. That, you know what, that was a cup. That was a cup that broke because I wasn't paying attention. But I'm just going to keep going. I'm a serial cup killer. Alright. Alright, so I'm using 1/3 of a cup to put in the cupcake tin. You want it filled just a little bit more than halfway. So you don't want it filled all the way up to the top. So who do you think was Jack the Ripper? Personally, I think it was maybe somebody that, you know, hasn't been advanced as a suspect. I think, you know, it was probably just some average Joe, and you know, who lived there. I think he lived in the East End, because why would you go to a place that you're not familiar with. Okay, so here are the cupcakes, and we're going to put them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Okay, so the cupcakes are out of the oven now. There you go. And we're going to make some icing for them. Okay, I'm getting attacked by the drawer. Okay, so for the icing, we're going to use confectioner sugar. And I'm just going to put in about, like a cup. That's like a cup. And I've got some melted butter. I'm going to put in about half a tablespoon of melted butter. And I'm going to put in a little bit of vanilla for the flavor. Okay, and then I'm going to start with the milk. And making icing is really easy, but you have to be careful with the milk because if you put too much milk in, then you'll end up with watery icing. So I like to start with just a little bit of milk. Keep adding little bit by little bit until you get the consistency that you want. And this is called buttercream frosting. So, in my story book that I was reading, I was saying that, you know, she has picked this one suspect that she likes, and that person is not really taken very seriously by the rest of the community. And that I happen to think that it was maybe somebody not proposed yet, but I do think that Catherine Eddowes knew her killer because she was let out of the police station like at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning, so it was too late for her to get a drink, and her husband was holding a bed for her at the dog's house, so she didn't need money for that. So, you know, why would she follow a guy that she didn't know? And it was at the height of the murder, so she knew that there was a killer out there. So, you know, why would she go? Okay, so now I made it a little too watery, so I'm just like I said I was going to do, so I'm going to add just a little bit more sugar. I'm going to add like another tablespoon of sugar. Alright, so that is the consistency that I want right there. And I'm going to add just a little bit of food coloring to make it kind of fun. What color do you think I should add? You could comment below. I have red, I have blue, I have green, and I have yellow. We'll go with green. I'm just going to add a little bit of green for, I don't know, Irish, right? Okay. St. Patrick's Day cupcakes. Nowhere near St. Patrick's Day. Alright, so there you go. And I'm just going to ice one up right here. There we go. Alright, let's see how they taste, okay? It's so good. Peace and justice for all.